In Houston, this week, Kevin became the topic of conversation thanks to a recent critique of James Harden.
You had James Harden with the ball, fantastic with the ball, great passer. The guy's got phenomenal vision. Talk about vision. James can see all the passes, do everything. But James is not a leader. He tried being a leader last year, tried doing that stuff. I think Chris Paul is going to help him just kind of get back into just being able to hoop and play and stuff like that. But on every team, you have to have a voice. On every team, you have to have somebody that when they say something, people listen. You know, James, like, wait, look, if James tells you, Chuck, you got to play better, do you listen to him? Like, you got to be kidding me. I lived through it. Believe me, everybody in the locker room did this. Like, you know, every time he'd mention defense, everybody would put their head down like, you got to be kidding me.
He's a clown, honestly. You know, I did anything and everything he asked me, to do. I try to lead this team every single day since I've stepped foot here in Houston. But just to go on air and just, downplay my name when, honestly, he's never taught me anything, to be a leader. But I've done a great job. I think the organization, my coaches, you can ask any of those guys, how I've worked extremely hard every single day to better, obviously be a basketball player, but be a leader as well. Different types of leaders as well. So to go on air and downplay my name like that, it just it shows his character. And I usually don't go back and forth on social media with anybody or, with interviews, but, it's time to stand up for myself and there it is.
There it is indeed, the criticism and the response from James Harden, and at the risk of extending this out even further, your rebuttal.
Go ahead, it's extended out further. No, I mean, you're calling me names is not going to change my opinion as to what I saw when I was there. It's hard to have a lot of credibility if you don't play good defense. It's hard to say, let's get stops when people are looking at you saying, please stay in front of somebody. And my point was that he's a hell of a basketball player. He really is. I mean, and to James' credit, I will say this. He organizes guys in the summer. He does a lot of stuff. He does a lot of those things. What I was talking more about leadership is, Isaiah, now you and I talked about this. Yeah. It's a tie game at half, okay? And it's a playoff game, or you're playing another team that's tough and rumble, and they're going to get after you. And all of a sudden, with 4 minutes to go in the third, you're down 9. They're getting every loose ball. They're getting every rebound. They're doing this stuff. It's not about skill at that point. It's about will. It's like, I got to impose my will on you. So what? James at that point gets a little bit, that's not his personality. Chris Paul, internal, get in your face, go nose to nose with you, say, hey, let's go. And I think that's what you need. Draymond Green does a great job. Whenever you need a spark, he's out there going John with somebody. And I say, you know how it is, but that's kind of the era we came from. And that's what I'm saying. James is a hell of a basketball player. Chris Paul will have that leadership at those times where he gets a little bit introverted, a little bit quiet, and you saw the game in the Spurs. I mean, he get to the point where he's just passive. And Chris Paul is not like that. Chris Paul's that, like we were kind of more, if things go bad, let's go get them.
Yeah, and there are different types of leadership styles, and I think that's what you're referring to. And it's no knock on James, but Chris Paul is the president of the Players Association. Yeah. So he has different type of voice, different type of leadership. And it's not that James isn't a great leader. He's not a Chris Paul kind of leader. Mm-hmm. They're different kind of leaders. And on our team, on your team, they're different kind. ML Carr probably was a leader on your team.
He was a leader. Let's go punch him in the mouth. I promise you that. Let's change the game. But at times, I seriously, at times,
you got to have different ways of communicating, different ways of being. And I look at what you said, as a critique on his game. And also, in those moments where you need that person to step up, as you said, that's not his personality. Mm-hmm. That's not a knock on him, but that's just not his personality. It may be Chris Paul's personality, but it's not James. That doesn't mean that they're bad players or they're bad people. Now, you, Bozo, and I'm homie. But,
exactly, we're all wrong.
That's just how it goes.
Grant, when you think of great players, and I'm talking about elite players, all-time great players, does the package require leadership with ability?
Well, I think sometimes we expect that. You expect an Isaiah Thomas, the best player on the Pistons, and he's also the best leader. He's the voice. He's that guy. But it doesn't always translate that way. We talked about Draymond Green. Mm-hmm. He is the leader of the Golden State Warriors. Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson, maybe are better basketball players and are more, the sexier roles, if you will. But Draymond Green is that voice, is that leader. So it doesn't always translate. I think it helps when your best player also sets the tone in terms of vocally, but also on the court. but it isn't necessarily always the case.
But, it's just picking up the last point on this is that, you see Draymond Green goes nose and nose, gets into it. Steph Curry's going nose and nose with guys. Like you need that guy to be that igniter on your team. And just when things are going bad, hey, you know what? I'm going to hit you first. I'm going to hit you last. I'm going to slap the ball out of your hands. I'm just going to change the rhythm of this game up because we're not playing well right now. And that's more what I was referring to. That's Chris Paul's style a lot more than this James.
Yeah, and you were his coach. And, when you have a coach such as yourself, there's critique and criticism that goes along with that to help you get better as a player. And part of being his coach was to identify his strengths and his weaknesses, not necessarily to say you're a bad person because you're not this, but it's like, okay, I need this from you, and James, you can't give me that, so I'm gonna ask Patrick Beverly to give it to me. So that makes the team better. And too many times guys take criticism as negativity, but
personal.
Yeah, or personal.
Yeah.
But in order to get better and in order to grow, you have to be critiqued, and criticism comes with what we do because that's what makes you better. And you made him better as a basketball player. He may not agree with that, but he had some good years up under you.
No question. He's legitimate, can play. He's been runner-up for MVP twice, where he easily could have won it either year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the kid can play basketball. I'm just saying that that's not his personality.
By the way, I was really hoping you'd come out here with the red nose. That's really my only disappointment from this conversation tonight is you didn't go with the giant red nose. He does have enormous feet. So you've got that part.
I got that
part covered. By the way, no
and
Chris
homie don't
Paul
play
tonight.
Yeah, homie don't play at all.
From Houston tells us Chris Paul is out tonight for the Houston Rockets.